Page Chavdalad. 4 lines from the top of the page. V'avedas atfilah. Avedas atfilah. This part of the Maamar is a word from the Tzemach Tzedek that's discussing the inyan of Avedas atfilah. Davening. Of course, davening is important in its own right. Davening is one of the Taryag mitzvahs. Thank you. Davening is one of the Taryag mitzvahs. But besides that, here, the Rebbe brings from the Tzemach Tzedek the effect that davening has regarding a person's mitzvahs. What's the issue with a person's mitzvahs? You do a mitzvah, it's a great thing. Why does mitzvahs need davening? So we learned yesterday that because mitzvahs are done through the neshama, which is melubish in a guf, what happens is a person's ulterior motives get involved in the fulfillment of the mitzvah, and that creates mitzvahs that need some washing, that need some purification, to bring it up, to connect and to draw the energy that the mitzvah has to draw. So you need davening to purify the mitzvahs. So let's continue inside. Now the Rebbe, the Tzemach Tzedek, connects the inyan of davening to the theme that we're speaking about over here, which is the fact that the mitzvahs have to be done every single day. As we learned yesterday, if a person does 2 mitzvahs in one day, and the next day he skips doing mitzvahs. I did 2 yesterday, why do I have to do any today? So we say no. Yomim Yitzaru, every day Hashem creates and gives a person life, because mitzvahs have to be done on that day. So now, Tzemach Tzedek connects this inyan also to davening. As we see, davening is a mitzvah to be done on a daily basis. Avedas atfilah, hu inyan avedas hayom. Davening is specifically a mitzvah which is related to the day, Yom v'layla, morning and night. Sharei, the Gemara tells us, tefillos keneged midim tiknon. The tefillos that we're davening morning and night are corresponding to the 2 korbanos tamid brought in the Beis HaMikdash. Shehu inyan tamid shel shachar v'tamid shel bein arba'im. The carbon tamid that was brought in the morning and that was brought in the afternoon. As we know, Minat Torah, the mitzvah of tefillah is not on a daily basis. When does a person have to daven Minat Torah? When he's in need, when he has a tzarech. So the mitzvah is not to turn to any other source, but to turn to Hashem, to daven and to request from Hashem. With the Rabbanan, though, they were misakin that tefillah is on a daily basis, regardless of the matzav of the person. Every single person has to daven on a daily basis. So we see that davening with the Rabbanan is connected to the day. There's a schedule in the day of Shachris Mincha, and then Ma'ariv also, which is connected the pieces of the korbanos that were brought in the Mizbeach during the night. This idea is explained also in Lekutei Torah. Pirish HaKaso, the Alter Rebbe, there says a beautiful pshat in the pasuk, V'yadaita hayom v'shivaisel avavecha, and you know today, you shall know today, and you should take to heart, Ki avayahu ha'olikim. So the Alter Rebbe teaches the pasuk as follows. So first, in the parentheses, the Rebbe brings that this pasuk is related to davening. Where do you see this pasuk speaking about davening? When the pasuk says, take to heart, hu avedas atfilah, that implies that we're not talking only about a person learning. If the pasuk is talking about the knowledge that a person should learn about and know the unity of Hashem, so it would just say, v'yadaita hayom ki avayelikim. When it adds v'shavayisel avavecha, that refers to davening. Which service of Hashem is the service of the heart? That is davening. So in this context, the v'yadaita hayom is just the introduction to davening. The person is not just learning for the sake of learning alone, but he's learning to understand in order to put himself in the right frame of mind for davening, so that he could dedicate his heart to Hashem in davening. So the Alter Rebbe teaches Pirish. The pshat in this is v'yadaita hayom. The pasuk says that what you have to know is yom, the day. In other words, of course, the simple pshat of the pasuk is v'yadaita hayom. You shall know today, every day. You should pay attention to this. But the Alter Rebbe teaches it's the hayom that you should know. V'yadaita hayom. What is it about the day that a person should take to heart? You could learn a great lesson from the very makeup of a day. Just like a day is made up of the day and the night. And they both make up one full day. As the pasuk says, and it was evening and it was morning, and that makes up one day. Kach, so too, v'ashivaisa levavecha. A person can take from that, a person can take the heart regarding himself. Shekamay shehu bizman, just as it's true regarding time, that time is made up of night and day, kachu benefesh. The same is also regarding a person's nefesh, regarding a person's soul. Shahabeiz levavis, that a person has the two ventricles in his heart. Shehem hayetzatay v'hayetzahara, which are the evil inclination, or the yetzatay, the good inclination, and the evil inclination. Shehu inyan yom v'layla benefesh adam, which is the combination of night and day in the person's soul. The person has the yetzatay, which is goodness and connection to Hashem, day, and nighttime, darkness, which is the nefesh bahamis, which is the yetzahara. Heim shneim ke'echad. The point is that a person's objective should be to make them come together, and that they should both together serve Hashem. Just like you have yom v'layla in a day, and both together make up the full day, and one without the other is incomplete. In our service of Hashem, if a person is only focusing on his neshama, but he ignores, he forsakes his nefesh bahamis, doesn't deal with the temptations of his nefesh bahamis, he just tries to ignore it and push it away. So then he's serving Hashem, but it's incomplete. A person that's all day struggling and fighting with his nefesh bahamis and trying to talk to his nefesh bahamis, but he never has those moments where he lifts himself up and goes away from the nefesh bahamis and connects to Hashem on a neshama level, to try to reveal his neshama and connect to Hashem on a ruchni level. So then he's also going to be constantly busy with the nefesh bahamis and dealing with its struggles. There has to be a balance. You have to include both together. You serve the Eibusher with your neshama, and you bring the energy and the power of your neshama to influence and include the nefesh bahamis as well. That's the ultimate aveda. Shegama yetzahara, that you take the yetzahara as well. Yoshuv la'aveda savaya. The energy of the yetzahara should return and come to serve Hashem. Kamishakasav, as it says in the pasuk, v'chol levavcha b'shnei yitzarecha, that you serve Hashem with all your heart. So the Mishnah says in the end of Brachas, what does that mean? With both of your yetzarim, both inclinations, the yetzatayv and yetzahara. As this concept is explained in Lakota Torah in Parshas Chukas, the Alter Rebbe explains this Mishnah. How is it possible to serve Hashem with the Yetzirah? The Yetzirah is evil. Either he wants to tear away from Hashem. He wants you to have an ego and not do what Hashem wants. What's pshat you serving Hashem with the Yetzirah? So the Alter Rebbe there explains that the Yetzirah is made up of two parts. There's the Chaymer and there's the Tzura. The tzura of the Yetzirah, the desires of the Yetzirah that gets involved in actual negative temptations, those are things that a person has to get rid of. You can't elevate the actual evil temptation. But the energy, the chaymer, the very energy of the Yetzirah has a lot of energy to him. As it's brought in Chassidus, v'rav tfuz b'koyach shoy, the Yetzirah has energy that's even more powerful than the neshama. That energy of the Yetzirah has to be transformed and elevated. And it could actually be elevated even to a higher source than the Nefesh Lakis itself, because it comes from a higher place. It comes from Toyu, as it says, right? So therefore, over here when it says B'shnei Yitzarecha, it's transforming the energy of the Yetzirah to be included in Avedis Hashem.
Which is the Chayma, which is the Tzura?
The Tzura is once it's developed and it's actually involved in a specific negative thing. That's something that a person cannot elevate. That's something a person has to do a skafia and drop. But the chaymer is the energy that it has. The koyach hatayva, the koyach hamasav is the lashon.
And desire.
The desire, the koyach of desire. When you have a specific desire for something that's not kosher or something that's forbidden, so that's something that a person can't elevate that food or that thing. So that's something that a person is going to have to drop with the koyach of iskafia, with discipline. Hashem came the source, the energy of the desire, the potential, that's something that a person can definitely elevate and transform.
Vigor.
The vigor, the energy, whichever the lashon you want to use, correct. So this is the pshat in the pasuk here. V'yadaita hayom. You should take a lesson. You should take a lesson from the two parts of a day. V'ashivaisa elavavecha, and apply what you see in a day to your existence as well, to your soul as well, to include your nefesh bahamis as well. V'yadei zenefeles avedis adam b'nyadavai echad. That's when a person can really come to serve Hashem and to recognize the true unity of Hashem, which is the conclusion of the pasuk Havayahu Elakim, that Havaya and Elakim are all one. Of course, Havayahu Elakim means there's the two levels of Havaya. Refers to the Eibishter that's L'mayla min Teva. Elakim refers to the energy of Hashem that's in Teva. If a person only serves Hashem with his neshama, so then he can recognize Havaya, but he can't connect it to Elakim. If a person serves Hashem only dealing with the Welt and his Nefesh Bahamis, so then he's connected and he can recognize the existence of the energy of Hashem in the world, in Elokim. But if you want to have the combination of the two together, Havaya and Elokim, then to recognize how really they're all one, so that has to begin internally when the person in his Aveda serves Hashem b'chol avavcha and brings together the Nefesh Elokis and the Nefesh Bahamis, that they both are dedicated to Hashem. So then, as a result, you could also recognize and draw the unity of Hashem as well, that Havayahu Elokim. This is the Alter Rebbe's pshat in the pasuk. So this is the general idea of what davening is about. Why Chazal were masakin to daven every single day? She'avedas yom yom, davening on a daily basis. Yomim yitzaru, Hashem created the days of a person's life, and every day you have to daven. That a person through davening can wash off and cleanse the garments of Torah mitzvahs that need cleansing. So based on what we explained, we understand how davening has the koyach to do that, because the Aveda of davening is of course about connecting to Hashem with the heart. But as we just explained, the objective of davening is what kind of connection? It's a connection of b'chol uvavcha, where a person includes his nefesh bahamis as well. The neshama doesn't really need, so to speak, the davening, because the neshama is connected. The nefesh bahamis is what needs the davening. The problem is, though, the nefesh bahamis alone can't daven. The nefesh bahamis is just interested in himself. He doesn't daven the nefesh bahamis. The nefesh elokis has to take the nefesh bahamis and daven with it and connect it. That's what's supposed to happen in davening. So therefore we understand how that corrects the issue with Torah mitzvahs. What makes Torah mitzvahs, the levushim of Torah mitzvahs, dirty, so to speak? It's the fact that his nefesh bahamis is throwing in these ulterior motives and disturbing the person while he's trying to do a mitzvah for Hashem's sake. When a person davens the way he's supposed to and elevates himself, b'chol avavcha, so then that makes it possible that his Torah mitzvahs should be pure. And even, the chiddush here is that even those Torah mitzvahs that he already performed before and have been, so to speak, tainted by his nefesh bahamis, can now be elevated and cleansed. It's a very big chiddush that it goes the mafreya, right? We know the concept of tshuva, that tshuva elevates a person, things, and life from before. That to connect to Hashem. But over here, the Rebbe, the Tzemach Tzedek is saying this idea b'negei to davening. That davening gives wings to his Torah mitzvahs and cleanses his Torah mitzvahs to connect even from before. It's the chiddush here.
But then Tanya, one tefillah with kavanah.
Yeah, tefillah achas muluketas kol hashana Nigaris HaKadosh could elevate all. So that's even within davening itself. That when the davening is full of machshava zaras, but you have one pure davening, and that could elevate the davening of the entire year. Yeah. Right inside.
So no tefillah goes to waste, basically, based on that.
If, yeah, okay. Correct. And then the result of all of this is, what is the ultimate purpose? So now that Rebbe returns to the more general point that we're speaking about over here, what's the idea of doing a mitzvah every single day? Can't do 2 mitzvahs one day and no mitzvahs the next day. There's an idea of doing mitzvahs every single day. When a person does mitzvahs properly, and he has avodas hatfilah that brings him to do mitzvahs even with his nefesh bahamis, then you reveal the unity of Hashem in the world. Lahamshich, now that Rebbe teaches the pshat of Veloi, as we saw before, Veloi is written in 2 ways, either Loi with an aleph or Loi with a vav. Lahamshich, so one pshat is Lahamshich mibchenes Loi b'aleph. The source of where you're drawing from Loi with an aleph, which is the ksiv. It's written with an aleph, and Loi means not, no. No means it's implying from where you're drawing. We're drawing from a place where you can't understand. You can't comprehend the source of that place. That's how high a Yid reaches with his Torah mitzvahs and with tefillah. Shulamayla mishtalshalus. Above ishtalshalus that a person draws, that's the source from where you draw. Sheyumshach be'echad. And from that source it should come down to echad, which echad is a combination of aleph, ches, daled, which refers to the heaven and earth and the four directions of the world. That's the first pshat of Loi. That's the source. Then you have the second pshat, al yidei Loi b'vav. And then you draw it down where and how do you draw it down into the world through the second word Loi b'vav. which is the kri, the way you read it. Sheheim vav midas al yainis, which refer the sixth, the vav refers to the 6 midas of seder ishtalshalos, and they are the mechanism to bring all giluy of Elokos into the world. Just like the midas of a person. The midas of a person is the relation. It's the way he relates and the way he responds to others. The emotions of a person is not as only in himself, but the emotions is how he gets nispal and affected by others. The same is also Lamailo, the midas of the Eibishter is the mechanism to bring the Gilui Elokos into the world. So the loy with Aleph is the source, and the loy with the Vav is the mechanism of bringing it into the world. So this is the deeper idea here. This is the objective here. That in the fulfillment of Torah mitzvahs, it's necessary for it to be done within the days. And as we learned before, that the point here is not just that it's done within time, because a human being, as long as he's alive, is living within the framework of time, but to actually draw the energy of the mitzvah and to invest it and to bring it into this man, to actually connect it to the mitzias of this man. As the Tzemach Tzedek explains, the source of the physical days, or the division, the division of the days that we have, the 24-hour period, which is made up of a day and a night. So that kind of division that exists in this world, it comes from the way the Ruchnis, the Gemidus of the Eibishter are set up. The 7 days of the week correspond to the 7 spheres from Chesed to Malchus. So therefore, when a person is Mekayim, Torah mitzvahs, within the framework of the days of the week, he draws from the loy of the Aleph, from the source, into the 7 spheres. Before it said 6, but now the Rebbe is saying it's really 7, if you include Malchus as well, which is a lower level, bringing it even lower. Ba'avedas ha-Torah mitzvahs, in the Aved of Torah mitzvahs of a Yid. So in a very practical sense, what this means is, every person has, highs and lows. If a person feels on one day he's on a low, and therefore he forsakes his Torah mitzvahs, and then on another day he feels a great highs, and an inspiration, his neshama is on fire, and he's going forward, and he's doing Torah mitzvahs, what really is happening over here? He's doing Torah mitzvahs when he's in a ruchnistic state of being. When he's in a place where he feels dragged down, or he feels more earthly, so to speak. He feels more in time and space in the world. So then there's no Torah mitzvahs there. So what happens is, just like the person himself, his fulfillment of Torah mitzvahs is only when he's on a high. So the Hamshacha Milmaila may draw from a very high place. It's drawing from loy. Anytime a Yid does a mitzvah, it draws from a very high place. But it doesn't bring it down, because the way he's doing the mitzvah is not in a place where he's within the Hagbalas of the Welt. He only does mitzvahs when he's on a high. So he has 1-2 days a week when he's on a high, and the rest of the time he's out. So what it's saying over here is no, the Kiyum HaTorah mitzvahs has to be consistent, and it has to be every day. Every day, another day again. What level I'm on, what mood I'm in. Every day, the consistency. And when the person does it with that consistency, which within each every day, then you mamshach mumayla also, not just from the loy, but into the loy with a vav, or even with a zayin, into the spheres, which brings it and integrates it into the mitzias of the Welt. That's the kavanah here. Which is connected, just one moment, which connects it to the theme of this ice, where it spoke about tefillah, to bring it into the nefesh Bahamas. It seems like it's a different inyan, but it's the same point here. To bring it into the day, the night, and the nefesh Bahamas, not just in the moments of inspiration.
Time is a creation. I mean, it's
absolutely, yeah.
What is it? It's made from Abba Yisraelis?
No, but it's a creation. That's one of the things that's brought b'shem the Mezritcher Magid in many places, that as much as all physical things are created, and before the existence of the world, it didn't exist. Zman is a creation as well.
He made the Sheshes Yamim. It's a creation.
But what does that mean?
Well, the simple pshat of that is in 6 days Hashem created, right? But there's the diak where it says Sheshes and not Bisheshes. But that's something which is discussed. The whole concept of Zman. We're going to actually, interesting you bringing it up, because on page Chavav, we're going to talk about Zman. And the shayrish of Zman, and the whole concept of Zman. But Zman is a creation, yesh ma'ayin, just like anything else. It's not a physical being, obviously, but it's a creation.
You can say what we said before, is that when the person is inspired, he's only drawing down from the Vav. from the level of within the Chassidus.
Mm-hmm. He's not even drawing from the loy with an aleph.
When he doesn't want to do a law, when you said
When you say loy and you do it anyways,
from the aleph, which is the alufa, but from between
that's when you draw from the aleph, from the loy, which is okay, good, very good.
Interesting on Dev Drush, there's 24 hours in a day.
Okay.
A person's supposed to sleep at least 6 hours, according to Shulchan Aruch.
6, right? Okay, yeah.
So it's left over 18. So at
Okay.
least those 18 is chai. You should be chai.
Okay. Chai
The
b'hem.
18 hours that you're awake should be v'chai b'hem.
Mamshich ba'maimer. Friedrich Rebbe continues in his maimer. Shal yidei avodas habirurim. To the avodah v'yid in this world, by refining the world. Mevarerim u'mezachim esa'elam. You ultimately come to refine the whole world. The oisim mikesher keresh. You transform from the world being very connected to below, being connected here below, to becoming a keresh, to becoming a beam in the Beis HaMikdash. V'haina de ma'kesha, the oilam, from the connection to the world, which is what? The masha oilam mares atzmai lemitzias. The fact that the world presents itself as an independent existence. Harei ze sheker cholo. That's a lie. So a person transforms that into Torah, into a Mishkan. Is hinei kashalayim dim Torah mekayim es mitzvahs. When a Yid learns Torah and fulfills mitzvahs, nishapach lekeresh, it becomes transformed into a keresh, into a beam keresh lemishkan. All of Nema, regarding which it says v'asilu mikdash v'shachanti b'seitcham, and I dwell in the Mishkan. Shehu me'atzi shitim oimdim, which is the pillars, like the pillar that starts on the ground and extends to the roof. So these are the pillars that draw from the highest place and bring down the Gili Elokos into the world here below. As this was explained in the previous sifim, especially in last year's sif that we learned about the concept of a pillar, how it draws from the highest place into the lowest place. So now Vihine, the Rebbe continues, and here in this paragraph, the Rebbe will bring a word from the Rebbe Maharash. Since the objective that a Yid has to accomplish is that the existence of world should not be in the state that it is, which is a falsehood, which is a sheker. Rather, the mitzias of the world should be a keresh, it should be a beam. What is a person doing? A person is connecting the existence of the world, the falsehood of the world, with the true reality, with the true existence of Hashem. How they move on, so from this it's understood, the very existence of the world, you're connecting the mitzias of the world and you want to transform and elevate the mitzias of the world. So what the Rebbe is saying over here is that the theme of Basi legani and the theme of this idea of making a dira b'tachtainim is not about a person saying to himself that he has to walk away and disassociate of the mitzias of the world and connect to Hashem. Just like the idea of the keresh is that it's positioned on the ground. It's positioned there on the ritzpah, and it extends from there to the roof. So it's connecting and drawing into the arza. The same thing has also been again to the lashon of the maimer. We're taking the very sheker and creating a beam and a connection to Hashem out of the sheker. Right? It's not about the person walking away from the mitzias of the world and connecting to Hashem. It's bringing it into the mitzias of the sheker of the world, into the chayshach, and that's where you're making the connection. So just like we spoke in the previous eyes about bringing it into the nefesh bahamis, into the day, over here the Friedrich Rebbe takes that yet one step lower. Because when you talk about the hagbala of zman, the hagbala of the nefesh bahamis, that's one level of Akbala, one level of the existence of the world. But when you talk about the sheker of the world, the falsehood of the world, that's bringing it down even a level lower. So what we're saying over here is that you have to bring the connection of Hashem into the lowest place, as the lashon of the Medrash Dira b'tachtainim implies, bringing it into the tachten shein tachten lamata heimenu, into the lowest element of existence of the world, where it presents itself as sheker, the falsehood that I exist. And there you have to reveal the true essence of its existence. What is taka the true essence of that I exist of the world, that it's connected to Hashem?
What does specifically the sheker relate to? That there's a mitzias of a bell.
The independence that the world presents itself, that I'm here and I exist. and it doesn't recognize a source that creates it every moment. That's the falsehood of the world. That's the sheker of the world. He's not referring to, I mean, look, there's a sheker of the world, and even in a more literal sense, Pashat sheker, that there's lies and falsehood that you see in the world. But he's referring to the essence of the sheker of the world, which is the very fact that the world presents itself as an independent existence. That's the sheker. But that also has a holy source. The very fact that the world presents itself as independent, that I exist and doesn't recognize its source, that very nature of the world to present itself that way is l'chayra the most negative thing, and that's really ultimately the source of all negativity. But yet that itself has a holy source, and that itself has to be connected. As we'll see in Mitzvah Hashem in the Hem Shchein over there next week.